Welcome one and all. Step right up and get your tickets for another moment in gaming history.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome officially to the channel. This is a series where I go into various different moments in video game history, and today I want to talk about a game that I'm guessing most all of us have played in one form or another. And while not the very first of its kind of game, it was a pivotal turning point in the genre and an international phenomenon that took the gaming industry by storm and even had a recent movie. Today, we're going to talk about Tetris. Tetris was designed by a man named Alexei Petrov, who began work for the Computer Center of the Soviet Academy of Sciences as a speech recognition researcher. His task was to test the capabilities of new hardware, but what he really wanted to do was to use computers to make people happy. So, in his spare time, he started working on a game idea that was based off a childhood game he used to play called Pentamino. Pentamino was basically a puzzle game that two or more people could play, taking turns putting pentamons on the board so that they didn't overlap with existing tiles and no tile was used more than one time. The objective was to be the last player to place a tile on the board. He had an idea for the tiles of the game falling from the ceiling into a glass box, with the player having control of the rotation and positioning of the blocks. And by 1985, he had come up with the game Tetris, a combination of tetra, meaning four, and tennis, his favorite sport. The game released first on the Electronica 60, which had no graphical interface. Because of that, he actually modeled the design with ASCII characters using primarily spaces and brackets. One of the things that he noticed quickly is that the filled lines began to eat up space very quickly, and decided that they should be deleted, incidentally creating one of the key mechanics of the game in the process. The game actually took off really well, with all his colleagues eager to play the game and sinking tons of time into it. It would eventually gain the attention of a man named Stein, who tracked down Petrov in Moscow in order to talk about the game's fate. But ultimately, that wasn't up to him, but the Soviet agencies. They made an agency called the Electrotechnica, more commonly called Elrog, in order to oversee the foreign distribution of the Soviet-made software and licensed it to Stein. Stein's agreement only officially covered the license for personal computers. No coin-operated machines or handheld devices were included in this. However, that didn't stop Stein from saying that those licenses would be coming soon and licensing the game to companies like Atari and Sega for arcade kiosks and home consoles. The governing agency Elrog had no idea about this, and they were pretty furious. However, he managed to convince them of the opportunities, and in particular one with Nintendo for a handheld version of Tetris for Nintendo's up-and-coming handheld, the Game Boy. During all this time, a ton of money changed hands, with around $40 million as reported by SFGate in 1998. Petrov saw none of this money. However, he did become friends with Stein, who would eventually help him immigrate to America and set up his own game company before later working at Microsoft. In the end, Stein would return the rights of Tetris to its original creator, and Tetris would finally be back where it belonged this whole time. There is really no denying the influence of Tetris in puzzle games, or in history in general. Almost everyone has played a version of Tetris in some form or another, and it's a legacy that holds up to this very day. It's also inspired tons of other puzzle games over the years, with games like Columns and Bejeweled likely taking inspiration from Tetris in their own design. However, what do you guys think of this one? What's your favorite version of Tetris? Have you seen the movie? If so, let me know. However, for now, thank you for spending part of your day with me. If I could ask you for one more favor, please leave this video a like. And if you haven't, consider subscribing. It really does help me out. Until next time though, happy gaming.